There's only one place to start, and that's in the Premier League. And of course, we're going to start with Spurs beating Manchester United 6-1. Nothing, surely nothing could take over from that. But it did. Liverpool, the defending champions, losing against Aston Villa by 7 goals to 2. This has never happened in the history of the league, that the defending champs have conceded 7 in a game. Shaka, Hislop and Frank Leboeuf here to talk about it. Frank, I want to start with you. And the obvious question is, how on earth did this happen?
That's the beauty of football, or the craziness of football, as you can resume it. First, credit to the Spurs and credit to Aston Villa, the villains who did what they had to do, and disgrace to, to Liverpool, for sure, and also for Manchester United, because before that big incident that we're going to talk about and the VAR again, they were defensively nowhere near it. So some people in France, I don't know if you say the same in England, say that it's better sometimes to lose 6-1 or 7-2 once instead of losing 7 times or 6 times 1-0. I agree, but it is what we see today. It's what we call a humiliation, a disgrace, and they have to react very quickly. I'm talking about Manchester United and Liverpool, if they don't want to see either a position of a contender for the Premier League title or maybe a position in the Champions League fourth place. That was awful. Yesterday we talked about it. Steve Nicol said that there were no consistency whatsoever in the Premier League except from Liverpool. That we can put everybody in the same bucket and maybe throw it into the bin very soon.
Yes, just to confirm, Stevie wasn't supposed to be on today. He's not hiding under the table or at home eating shepherd's pie. Shaka, let's focus, shall we, on this Liverpool performance, because 7-2, you could argue, flattered them.
Yeah, without question. Ross Barkley could have quite easily had a first-half hat-trick. I'm not just saying that. Ross Barkley had 3 incredible chances to score before we even went in at half-time, and yet still we're talking about 7-2 at the end of 90 minutes. And I wish I knew how to even begin explaining this. I'll start with the good, and all the good came from Aston Villa. Jack Grealish was simply incredible. He was unplayable for Villa today. It showed how good, how creative he is, how effective he can be with a box-to-box midfielder such as Ross Barkley coming in, who totally transformed the look to Villa's midfield. Ollie Watkins, another midweek signing with zero Premier League experience, grabs a hat-trick against the defending champions. He shows a keen eye for goal. All that helped out, albeit certainly initially Adrian trying to pass the ball out to the back. That brings Villa's first goal. But I think it's ridiculous to try to blame what then happened on Adrian. Just full credit to Aston Villa. They were just too much for Liverpool to handle. And again, I'm here reminding myself that we are talking about the defending Premier League champions and 12 months out from being the defending European champions.
Why were Liverpool such a shambles at the back, Frank?
No communication whatsoever. I think, of course, we're going to talk about Adrian and the first goal, and he started from there. He made a huge mistake with a bad pass to, I think it was Gomez, and everything went wrong. I mean, if I'm Gareth Southgate, I'm just before international, games that they were going to have, I'm going to be worried with Gomez, with Trent Alexander-Arnold. We had a no-foot game as well. And of course, we can add Maguire in Manchester United. So we have Pogba and Griezmann in France. And Didier Deschamps with that, we'll have to resolve many problems. But defensively, I mean, that's becoming very annoying and very awful. I mean, everybody wants to have strikers. I know Manchester United is going to get Cavani very, very soon, But clubs, academies, they have to work about defending defensive problems, because what I saw today, but overall, not only on those 2 games, it's simply awful. I mean, I wasn't the greatest defender. I was maybe good with the ball, but not as good as, you know, Marcel Saïd, John Terry, Rio Ferdinand as a defender. But what I see there, I mean, I could be easily in the best club in the world, you know, if I see that. I mean, because I knew how to defend a little bit. Some players don't know to defend at all. That's a catastrophe.
Stevie was texting me throughout the game, Shaka, about Liverpool's line and just how much of a disaster it was.
Yeah, listen, that's how Liverpool play. They play a very high line, a lot of room in behind. If you get in behind, all of a sudden they're backtracking. And on today's showing anyway, they couldn't, once they start backpedaling as they do and turn running towards their own goal, they can't seem to then find their shape back. I add to that, and as critical as maybe you can be and want to be of Liverpool, I think Villa were just way too good. We've spoken in the past, and probably now is a timely, a good opportunity for us to have the discussion about Southgate and Grealish. But I'm trying to think right now if England has a more creative midfielder than Grealish. And I know there are downsides to him defensively, and sometimes he could wander a little bit. But as I said before, I just thought Grealish was just way too much. Once Liverpool got themselves out of shape and Grealish got the ball into feet, there was simply no stopping him. Barkley was a perfect foil running from deep. It was just too much for Liverpool to handle on the day.
But why was it too much to handle, Frank? This is the point that I'm still not grasping. This is the defending champions, the team that bossed the Premier League, that won it by 18 points at a canter last season. How did they get torn apart so easily by Aston Villa?
Yeah, you know, you have some question marks that is difficult to answer too. I mean, sometimes we talk about leadership and saying, you know, some players like Van Dijk and some others who should have said something to the team, say we have to react. We lost the first half, so maybe try to win the second half, even if we don't win the game. But nothing happened. And sometimes when your head is drowning, I mean, with your body and your entire body is drowning, nobody is capable of reacting. You have maybe the best coach in the world with Mr. Klopp, and nothing happened. We can hammer Ole Gunnar Solskjaer after, but Klopp had the same thing when he has all the credit in the world, and nothing was able to work. We don't have a team, like when we talk about Liverpool, with big stars like Ronaldo, Messi, everything. We always say that they were a real squad, a real team. They worked together, so they drawn together today. Yep. But you have to give the credit to Aston Villa. Don't forget that 3 goals were deflection as well. Right. So everything went well for the Villains because they did everything to have that kind of score, and Liverpool did everything to lose that game.
Here's the big question then, Shaq. Was today an anomaly?
I think so. You have to think so, especially if you're sitting in that dressing room. You're thinking, well, we didn't see that coming, but let's put it behind us and we figure things out. If Liverpool go on to defend their Premier League title, then this is just a blip on everybody's radar. There's nothing leading up to this. Listen, Liverpool haven't been anywhere near as good as we saw last season, as maybe we'd come to expect. You can look at their form post restart and say maybe we were building to this, but honestly, nobody. I don't think anybody would have seen this coming. Now you have to put that right. Up until now, you were 100%, and then all of a sudden you get this gut punch, and good teams respond. You've got some time now to figure out what went wrong, to put the pieces back in place to get it right after the international break. And you hope that you learn from it, you build from it, and results means it'll be quickly forgotten.
By the way, that game after the international break, Everton, who of course will go into the tie with a perfect record. Frank, same question to you. Was this just a one-off, or are there deeper concerns here looking at Liverpool?
Well, the problem for me is they don't have a game straight after, you know, to forget very quickly about that defeat when they all have to play with other players in international games. So, and after you're going to come back and try to resolve the problem with your coach. hopefully they have everything in their brains to shut down the nightmare and just see the positive aspect of the future because they have qualities. And as I said before, it's better sometimes to lose 1 time 7-2 than to lose 7 times 1-0. That's what it is. That's the real aspect and the beauty of football. It doesn't. You lost on 3 points, only 3 points. If you didn't lose your stamina, your ambition, we are going to have an answer very quickly with the next game for Liverpool.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.